This has nothing to do with what this city needs. There are people taking a squat on the street every other block at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and heroin addicts shooting up.
That Deniro won't vote for Trump and is going out and is losing his mind about Trump, who cares? Because, apparently they're losing voters, that they got to go and get this guy, and this guy says, yes, I'll do it. Welcome to Brutally Honest Talk Radio. It's been a long time, but we're back. How are you doing, Elmo?
I'm doing good. Doing good, maintaining well in this 100+ degree
heat wave.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's how it's going. You guys know we are quickly on the countdown to the election. There's a lot to talk about. Before then, or by then, there's a lot going on. Trump is going to be in town tomorrow for the debate, so you guys take a look at it. If you don't get to catch it live, then catch it and see the raw data for yourself. That's what we're into. That's what we want you to know. We have some topics that are going on for today, and I'll let you. Do you want to do those topics? Or you want me to mention those topics?
Yeah, I'll mention them. I'll mention them real quick, and then we can get started with it. So we're going to talk about how it's reported 34 to 39 candidates for office in Mexico assassinated since the fall, and also talk about their new president. Just kind of how the climate is in Mexico.
Okay.
Also have some ideas about Robert De Niro. Some of you may know this feud that he's had with Trump going on for years. Okay. And we're going to go then into some interest in San Francisco, which is a cesspool now, and really, really dealing with some weird stuff with their mayoral race. They got people that are campaigning for mayor in San Francisco, and much, much more. So just stay with us, and I'll save a couple other surprises for later. But those are some of the things we got. We're going to start off talking about this new president of Mexico, and also just it just makes me thankful for the country that we're in, for America. So there's some reports that said 34, others that said 39.
Okay.
And the article that I have here is really about a fact check, because it was saying that they were all running for president, and they were not. But still, I want you to just imagine if in America, just being conservative, let's say it's 34, because we know it's at least that many. Mm-hmm. Imagine if 34 people that were running for mayor in Chicago, Atlanta, Detroit, New York, San Francisco, Miami, Austin were assassinated since the fall, since September to June. Because this is real. This is a reality. Even though it's in Mexico, they're on our border. We call them a third world country. And some people want to open the border so that they can come in. I mean, these are citizens who are assassinating people. And when you let people in, sometimes things can veer off the road, off the track of the Constitution or the way that you have your country. But this isn't really about immigration. This is just, wrong is wrong, regardless of the geographical location. So, and I'll read a few comments, a few facts about this, and then you can comment on it. But just keep that in mind. And this isn't something being talked about in the mainstream news, and it's horrendous. So, like I said, this is a fact check article. It's really violence heavily aimed at candidates for local offices. Sheinbaum, a scientist and former mayor of Mexico City, was elected on June 2nd, according to USA Today. She will be the first woman to lead the country and the first person of Jewish descent to lead the predominantly Catholic nation. It was also a historically violent election season across the country. So majority of the victims were candidates for municipal or state positions. Crujeras, whose work includes assessment of political risks, told USA Today in an email. So this is how rough this is. And I remember just within the last couple of months, there was another woman who was running for she was running for president of Mexico, or she became elected, and she's in her car in her presidential motorcade or limousine going down the road, and a woman who was sitting next to her in the backseat of the vehicle shot her 3 times. This was a trusted person, supposed to be one of her aides, and obviously somebody got to her. So, I can go on and on about this. So I'll just break here and see what you want to add, Inger.
Yeah, I know Mexico. They've had a lot of violence. I keep saying they've had a lot of violence in Mexico. Whether it's the cartels and the cartels going through and murdering people in mass, that sort of thing. So yeah, Mexico has a lot of issues. But if we had that type of thing happening here, it would be devastating. As the United States were considered the, lack of a better term, crown prince, or the best part of the world, if you will. And if we had that going on here, there would be so many issues, not only here, but for around the world, because people come here to escape that kind of thing. And I am not making a play for illegal immigration, because I'm not for that at all.
Of course.
But people immigrate here legally to get away from those kinds of things that possibly happened in Mexico. And they happen in other places too. We're looking at Haiti, that's going through a lot of issues. I think Kenya is just recently going through some issues. I saw just in passing today that something's going on with their parliament. So, we are the crown jewel of all of this. And for Mexico, just someone directly south on our border, to be going through this, it's a lot. It's a lot. And I feel for the Mexican citizens who are trying to do the right thing, having to suffer through this.
Yeah, and then also over the years, people may know there's been a lot of judges assassinated in Mexico. Also, other South American countries like Brazil and what is where the cocaine primarily comes from? Colombia, and a lot of judges, and in this country, they are one of the co-equal branches of government, as high up as you can get, because the Supreme Court is equal with the president. And in Mexico, they haven't even been able to protect them. Right. So just think about if this were the case in America. We're just talking about running for mayor, in local office, that most of the people that hold office now, if they were in a campaign and an election coming up in 3 or 6 months, if they saw 3 or 4 other candidates being assassinated, most people would drop out of the race.
Absolutely,
right?
They would.
Even if it's in another state or another part of the country, because murder or this kind of behavior is like a disease. It could spread just like COVID spread, and attitude can spread. And we don't have open borders, but we have open state lines, or people can easily travel. So, assassins or people from one state can easily go to another. No one's going to stop them at the state line or at a checkpoint and do any kind of vetting process.
Absolutely. The people, El Salvador, they recently hired a guy who would be considered right wing, if you may, but he's going through and he is cleaning up El Salvador, and a lot of the criminals from El Salvador are escaping and heading north to our border, obviously.
Of course.
But he recently got elected. I don't think it's been a year yet, but he has made it his point to crack down on crime, to crack down on all this, and to get that out of there. He's trying to make his country a safer place.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So gangsters don't like that. They don't like that. It's a war. It's a war. There's law and there's the unlawful. There are criminals and people that represent the law, or the law-abiding citizens. And it's a constant war. I don't know what they need to do about it, but part of it is corruption. I'm offering you these perks or this money if you'll sell this person out or give me information or, turn the other way. Sometimes a corrupt person or a bad cop or whatever is just by turning a blind eye. And so corruption is a personal choice. Mm-hmm. It is. And, I think that most police departments and some countries, like the police and the army, is the same thing, but they go through their boot camp and their initiation, and they have some kind of a creed or an oath, or they're spoken to about upholding the law and having honor. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of a personal choice, and I guess you would attack it at the top, at the leadership, with the chiefs of police and the sergeants and whatnot. And look, this is one of the reasons why the Second Amendment is important, and the right to bear arms and to have guns. Politicians, protect your people. Vet them well. Go through 2 or 3 layers of making sure that they can be vouched for. We have bulletproof limousines. Elon Musk came out with a bulletproof car with Tesla. So it's okay to have that, but you have to protect your people, and you gotta take a stand. Got to take a stand and let people know that you can't be bullied. If you sign up for that, it's a war. So
yeah, and in Mexico, a lot of the politicians are corrupt, and they're caught up with the cartels. I'm not sure why. I don't know if these people have been blackmailed or their families threatened or that sort of thing, but that is what's going on in Mexico. Here in the U.S., we are blessed to have the police system that we do have, and they go by a creed, a code of honor, integrity, honesty, professionalism, character, that sort of thing. So they go after those traits that the person should have anyway. And the person has these traits anyway, and they happen to be a cop. So they don't become a cop to get those traits. They become a cop because they have those traits. So we are definitely blessed here in the U.S. with that.
Right. And now I want to go to, like I said, there's a race for mayor of San Francisco. So there was a debate recently where there were candidates, meeting on a stage in an auditorium. And I'm just going to play for you something that the mediator said, a question that she asked for this, this guy that's running for mayor. Okay. And then just tell me what you think.
Okay.
I'd like to ask Mark a question. You were at the Harvey Milk LGBT Democratic Club and couldn't name any LGBT advisors to your campaign. You were at the debate last week and couldn't name any drag queens on your own. I was wondering if you could, this is an opportunity to redeem yourself. And if you could name 3 LGBTQ advisors for your campaign and 3 drag queens in San Francisco.
I don't understand the importance of being able to name XYZ people for behaviors or features or anything. I would expect someone to name them based upon character. You should be able to name this person because of these characteristics, these inherent characteristics, not because of what they do or what they say or what they look like or anything else. These just inherent characteristics of honesty, integrity, professional, just like we have of cops.
Of cops.
Yeah. So why is that important in the San Francisco debate?
Because San Francisco is a place where it's a sexualized city, and they push the LBGT culture, and they've brought that into politics. Like the person or the people that are running the city, you have to know this. You have to be tuned in and plugged in with this culture. You have to go to drag queen shows, or you should be able to name the cast of Drag Race, RuPaul's show. And like this is, I mean, the woman who's asking this, she really thinks that this could tip the scale in whether or not people vote for them. Now, I don't know what the percentage is of the population, but I know it was very high above the average city 20 or 25 years ago. It was like 16% of the city gay. But even, let's say 40% of San Francisco is gay. Well, you still have a lot of sympathizers and people that want to advocate for them. It's like a rope. It's like all these things are connected. Like somebody is gay, then let's attach the drag queens and the furries and everything to this one rope and come on. Like they have to put all the numbers together of the individual sexualities for them to have some power. So now, if he's from San Francisco, or which he probably is, or at least from California, he's probably gonna give a reason why he doesn't know them or say something to try to actually answer that. When he should be saying, this has nothing to do with what this city needs. There are people taking a squat on the street every other block at 3:00 in the afternoon, and heroin addicts shooting up. They're about to change the name to San Fran Skid Row because of what it looks like. This is the kind of place that is. If he's a person of integrity and standing for something or being honest is more important than winning, then that's what he will do. That remains to be seen. But this is what's coming. I know it's in California, but there's a tidal wave sometimes that starts in one part of the country and then comes over to the rest of the country. Now, if we saw this in most states, most cities of most of the 50 states, we would think that that's a ridiculous thing to ask, a ridiculous question.
Well, I would think regardless if you're a furry, if you're LGBTQ, whatever, if you're black, white, green, whatever, that you want to be safe, that you want to have good schools for your children, that you want to have a good economy in the city, that you don't want high taxes. Regardless of all these intersectionalities, that's the flavor word of the month. Regardless of that, they're all things that we as people want to be secure. We want to feel safe. We don't want to get knocked over the head when we go outside, those sorts of things. So I don't know the importance of addressing all these intersectionalities and missing the point of being safe, having a good economy, having nice places to live, having good schools, all of that. I just, it's like missing the forest for the trees. What's the point of all of that if you can't have the basics? Right. That all of us want as Americans, regardless of who you sleep with, what color God painted you, all of that. I don't get it.
And, I want to say that if there was a person who their personality was weird or their sexuality was something that was not mine, or even if they dressed up in a Bugs Bunny outfit with and like to carry a giant carrot around, if they were able to do the job, I would vote for them. But, there's a commonality, like the two don't pair up together. And I never like to stigmatize people, but you heard the references to the people with the blue hair and the piercings. Mm-hmm. They do tend to think and speak a certain way. Yeah. But I'm just saying it's about it. We need to be like justice in this way. We need to be blind and look at what are they going to do? And the reason you said that, the things that you care about, is because really all people have the same basic needs. Whatever you do, when you go in your house and lock the door, when you go in that house, you want to be safe.
That's it. That's it. Period. It's as simple as that. It really is. So when candidates, and they're going to come out of the woodworks telling you all this intersectionality, trying to appeal to your skin color or who you sleep with or your gender or anything like that. Push it to the side, get to the core issue. What can you do to keep my community safe, to build businesses here, to make the economy flourish, that sort of thing. That's what you want to get to. All this other stuff doesn't matter.
Yes, I concur. And we're going to jump into now. I had an idea about this thing with actor Robert De Niro. You know, everybody knows who he is. And he's been going on his own campaign tour, going on Bill Maher and other shows, being interviewed. Just a hatred and disdain for Trump, saying that there's no good in him. And, I would never play him in a movie. Like, I really want to, because he's a great actor. I really want to call him out just on that one part, and I don't know. I mean, they're both from New York. Maybe he's known him for years, but he clearly hates him. But De Niro says, I would never play him in a movie. So I'm like, wait, time out. You played Vito Corleone, the Godfather, who was the head of a mafia family. You played him. You played Max Cady in Cape Fear as a psychopathic killer who got out of jail and terrorized his family. And you literally played the devil in Angel Heart. he played the devil. So you would do that, but you wouldn't. You hate this man so much that even if it could possibly be the best performance of your career, and I think you could play him. You'd be made up to look like him, put on a little weight or whatever, and get the voice and inflections down. But you hate him so much that you don't even want to do your craft if associated with him.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. First of all, did anyone ask? I don't remember anybody asking, him to play Trump. I have no idea. Secondly, it's interesting that they have to trot out, and I say the Democrat Party, the DNC, has to trot out all of these older celebrities. Robert De Niro, who else? George Clooney, Julia Roberts. They can't use the young celebrities like a maybe Taylor Swift or, and at this point, Britney Spears. She's kind of getting up there in terms of Hollywood. Why can't they trot out these younger ones? Where are these young celebrities to say, vote for Biden? He's the best thing since sliced bread. No, what? No, you got to trot out folks who are closer to retirement in Hollywood than they are at the peak of their career or at the beginning of their career. So the idea that De Niro won't vote for Trump and is going out and is losing his mind about Trump, who cares? Because, apparently they're losing voters, that they got to go and get this guy. And this guy says, yes, I'll do it. And I don't get it. They had Bush derangement syndrome in the 2000s. Now they have Trump derangement syndrome, 2016 and 2024. So Robert De Niro, just go. I don't understand why actors think people care about their politics. Actors read lines that other people create. Those people that create the lines create the stories, they create the environment, they create the fictional world of which these actors play. So go out there, read what you're told, what's written for you, and then go home. You can keep your politics to yourself at home. That's the best way. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Who cares?
Well, some of them, they want to use their influence, and they know that they're famous, and they're in this community. They're in this the echo chamber of Hollywood, where they can come out with that. They can come out with that if they're a Democrat voter and not be canceled, or not have people standing outside their house with torches.
Right. And and I don't understand, do all of these people really believe this? I mean, it's odd. 98% of people in Hollywood believe this and they're on board with this. You can't get 98% of people to agree that the sky is blue outside. But all of a sudden you have 98% of people basically in Hollywood that have bought into this ideology. It just doesn't make sense. It seems like it's too coincidental. It seems coordinated. Sorry, hate to be conspiracy theorist, but it seems that that's what it is.
Well, most people are followers.
Yeah,
most people are followers, and then there are some who they're putting on a mask. They don't want to say how they really feel because they want to get on board. Look, if women would sleep with Harvey Weinstein so that they could have a career instead of going to another studio, then they'll lie about how they may really feel about politics.
That's fair.
I don't think they could find young celebrities or old who could say what is good about Biden or the things that he's done.
That's fair.
The things that I've heard are very weak, like with his infrastructure that he's given a lot of people jobs. Oh, you mean construction workers building bridges and tunnels? You want to give construction workers a lot of jobs, send them to the border so they can finish that wall.
Right. And I thought we had these shovel-ready jobs when Obama was in, right? And that what the trillions of dollars of spending was for?
On hold.
They're on the way. They'll be here soon. Yeah.
Right. And there's one other thing I wanted to say, like just an idea that I had. And we know that by the time people hear this, the debate will have happened. And we know what it's like in the country right now. We know that Trump just got convicted, and there was a witch hunt leading up to that, and hatred on both sides, and people just going further to the right and further to the left. What I would like to see is for there to be a commercial. I don't know, could be anytime between now and election, maybe 3 months from now. But how about a commercial with Trump and Biden where they get on TV and they say, listen, it is your American right to vote. However, whoever you vote for, regardless of who the winner is, neither one of us endorses violence or rioting. And that would be a good opportunity for Trump to say, if he didn't say it at the debate, I am not for insurrection. I'm only for peaceful protests. I'm a constitutionist or constitutionalist. And so if both of them can say it, I mean, I don't know why anyone who votes either way, that if their candidate doesn't win, and the candidate says this, that they would still engage in vandalism or rioting, then they're really voting for something else. They have a different agenda. But if the person that you're voting for says this, because I'm really scared for American cities that may burn, or that there be like a real war in the streets. And they can do this without changing their political position or anything, by just saying, listen, I mean, hopefully the two of them can agree on that. And if either one of them is not willing to say that, I'm backing away. I'm backing away from Trump if he's against peace and going off the rails as far as abiding by the law.
And with that, I feel 100% sure Trump is all for peace and peaceful protests, that sort of thing. As a matter of fact, what he said on January 6th is peacefully protest, that sort of thing. So with that, first of all, when the insurrection, everything happened not the way it was supposed to happen, but everything happened properly. Biden came in, all that sort of stuff. For January 6th, you have to understand that, one, people should not talk about January 6th without talking about the summer of 2020 and COVID. What happened was you had people who were masked up. You had people who were told you couldn't go anywhere without a mask. They were told you have to stay at home, yet and still you have this faction over here that is in the streets. They're marching, they're yelling, they're breaking things, but yet and still you told this other section of the country, you need to stay at home. And then you have CNN saying it's a peaceful protest when things are burning in the background. And you also have them saying, well, no, you can't get COVID in crowds like this. When we are sitting there, we're walking down different aisles and walking different ways down the aisle in a grocery store because folks, they're telling us, no, you can't get COVID. So that's one thing. Another thing, you were calling people racist and all this sorts of stuff while you're pinning them up at home. You're pinning their children at home. They can't get the resources they need. Domestic violence increased because people couldn't get out to get the help that they needed. All these sorts of things are going on. And at the same time, January 6th comes and it's like, okay, we're out, and I'm not condoning the violence that happened. What happened was people were fed up. You had the summer of 2020. You had the federal courthouses that were being vandalized. You had statues that were being torn down. You had statues that were being vandalized. You had all these things going on. And then everyone's like, January 6th, but no one's talking about the summer of 2020, where you had Trump who had to go downstairs at the White House because you had nuts out here trying to break down the fence at the White House. So that I'm not for. So I believe Trump said all that to say Trump is definitely for peace. I think Biden, and I don't think he should be president, but I think he's for peace. However, it's a tacit endorsement when you have people like Maxine Waters, AOC, the Squad, all these Democrat folks coming out and saying, oh my gosh, January 6th, when you have people cranking them up. And Biden hasn't, no one has said, or Biden hasn't said, no, don't go out here and do this. But you have DNC representatives who are saying, get in their faces, do this, do that, do the other. And on top of it, what you also have is you have the press lying about what Trump said. Right. In Charlottesville, he said, oh, they're good, fine people. He never said it. That's the thing. So you have all these sorts of things. So I don't believe any of them are for violence, but I do believe that the DNC, because I know the candidates have to step away from that, but I do believe the DNC, those are their people out there. Those are their people that they've ginned up because they're doing it now. The anti-Israel protests, they're going and invading college campuses. They're causing issues on college campuses. So it's like, no one's getting out there saying, don't do it. I don't agree with it. But they're silent when it happens. So what did we learn during 2020? Silence is violence. So apparently, are they okay with it? Because we were told silence is violence. So everybody's quiet about it and no one said anything, but they're ready to point fingers if something happens on the other side. So that's a problem.
And remember, it took a long time after the rioting started before Biden made an ambiguous statement about you break the law, you go to jail, when he should have said, stop rioting. Oh, exactly. By the way, Kamala, stop bailing criminals out of jail.
Absolutely. Yes.
Stop paying wherever she's getting money from, paying for them to get out.
That's it. And she did. She had a fund to get all these folks out of jail during 2020. All this stuff going on. It's nuts. It doesn't make sense. So, like I said, we'll see. I know by the time this plays, the debate will have happened. So, and we'll definitely have something to say about that. But yeah, just watch and see for yourself. But it should be interesting. It's a rematch, is what it is, like they do in WWE. Rematch.
I'm going to say one thing to leave everybody with, and then you can come with a last comment also if you want to. Just that news stories, many of them are edited. They're edited, and it makes it lie by omission, where cutting out pertinent information. Whenever you see an article where the quote is only 2 or 3 words, and that's it, and they won't show you the before and after, go. Please do this. If you make a decision and have an opinion about it, you should make a decision to want to get the whole truth. So do that on articles, and also with videos where anybody says anything that you think is crazy or stupid. There should be a feed out there available where you can see the whole thing uncut, because like Charlottesville, and also with the January 6th speech, I've talked to people. Their news sources are editing for them, where people have told me, well, Trump said, I'll meet you over there. So they connect that with he wanted to be there with them, or come on, let's go meet over here and tear up some stuff and riot, right? So they make that connection, and that was a different day. It was a day before when he said, I'll meet you over there, or tomorrow we're going to meet and do this. And then because of Secret Service, I guess for his own protection, they didn't allow him to go there. And, that's another story. But with some of the people saying, this woman who showed up at this hearing, not the person who said it, but hearsay that Trump jumped over some seats and said, take me to the effing Capitol. That he was wrestling with Secret Service, but they can't tell you the names of the person who witnessed this. And Trump can fire Comey, but he can't fire a Secret Service agent who disobeyed a direct order. So you got to look at the whole thing. That's all. Just do some investigation on your own and a little deep dive in it and look at the whole story.
Ditto.
Okay.
Ditto. Yeah, get the half the story is not the whole story. Folks lie by omission, they lie by commission. So it's up to you to get this information for yourself. You have phones right here with all of human knowledge at your fingertips. You can definitely go and find out the rest of the story, as Paul Harvey used to say. Yeah. And with that, thank you for listening to this episode of Brutally Honest Talk Radio. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter, and also TikTok. Wherever you are, we are. We are on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts, there we are as well. So with that, we do hope that you take a look at the debate. We know it will have aired by the time this aired, so we do hope that you've looked at the debate and that you have formed your own opinion about it and your facts as well. So that's what we hope. But get involved. It's election season. We're counting down to the presidential election. It's your turn to get involved. If you want to see change, you got to be the change that you want to see. So with that, thank you for listening.
Hey, thanks everybody. Stay cool. Be safe. And we'll catch you on the next episode.
Take care.